Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Friday, July 19th. We returned to trading today after a steep sell-off on Wall Street yesterday. During regular trading, the Dow tumbled 533 points, or nearly 1.3%. The S&P 500 sank 43 points, or more than 0.75%. The NASDAQ gave up 125 points, or 0.7%. Bill, let's get into Friday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yeah, early this morning in my morning piece, I wrote how the S&Ps were negative this morning due to the global communication outage that's said to be, caused by a software update from security firm CrowdStrike. But I got to tell you, the S&Ps have turned green. We're up 0.15% this morning. This is very, very positive. Listen, the CEO of CrowdStrike, he came out and said, this is not a security incident or a cyber attack. And he said that the issue has been identified and a fix has been deployed. That's all sounds great. Fact of the matter is it's going to take a lot longer to deploy this fix than, he's kind of leading on to. As a result, you're seeing some caution in travel stocks and bank stocks, due to these IT outages. I'm looking at the airline stocks right now, and what is it? They are trading weaker. So, don't think that we're out of the news yet. This is going to be an issue. Earnings report, AXP and Travelers Group delivered beats. Netflix, hey, they delivered solid results on their EPS last night. Economic calendar. Really light today. We get the Fed blackout period that starts tomorrow. I did talk of Biden removing himself from the race. That talk remains elevated. In Europe, we're seeing markets falling. They are coming back a little bit, but they're still negative. We're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 105 points this morning. That's 0.58%. There's cause and concern of U.S.-China relationships, and there's concern about the lack of a stimulus package out of China. That's what's kind of weighing on some of these German stocks, as well as the cybersecurity issues. The FTSE's down 43 points, or 0.53%. I need to point out, in London, retail sales fell 1.2% month over the month of June. That follows that 2.9% rise that they had in May. Now, expectations were a drop of 0.4%, so a drop of 1.2 month over month. That's pretty negative. FTSE down 0.53%. London, Paris, the CAC down 40 points, or 0.53%. Still, you gotta be worried about the cybersecurity outage that created network outages around the world overnight. We're moving on over to Asia to see what happened in the Asian markets overnight. And, the Nikkei dropped 62 points, or 0.16%. Japan's inflation grew less than expected. It grew at 2.6. Expectations, I believe, were 2.7. The focus is going forward is going to be on the Bank of Japan and its monetary policy meeting that's upcoming. Hong Kong took a hit, dropped 2%, 2.03%, or 360 points. Listen, the property stocks are really weak. The market was really expecting that stimulus package out of China, and it didn't happen. So yeah, you had the big sell-off, but China's markets actually, ticked a little higher, up 5 points, or 0.17%. Okay, there was no stimulus package that was announced, but there's still a chance because the China Politburo is meeting later this month, and they could announce a stimulus package. So there still is some hope for that to happen. So we're keeping those Asian stocks are continuing to be on watch. We're looking at oil this morning. Oil is trading lower. You got WTI at $82.63. You got Brent at $85. The fact of the matter is that that stockpiles report was really good for oil prices, because it confirmed that you're seeing this big demand for oil. You've got the OPEC, those OPEC members. They're continuing to do their production cuts, and they're getting into more compliance with the OPEC quotas. So that's all positive. So there's a reason why you're seeing oil trading at above $80 a barrel right now. But if the economy weakens in the third quarter, which is possible, you could see WTI back down at $79 a barrel, and we'll have to wait and see if that happens or not. If we get to see some weakness in the economic data over the next few months, but oil is on watch. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, again, on this Friday, keeping a pulse on really everything that's going on across different spectrums of news, like political news, like that cybersecurity incident. You're also looking at things like earnings, of course, your economic events, and still there's other market moving headlines you're keeping track of this morning. We're going to start here with earnings action, a number of big names that have come out. So give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to earnings action.
Netflix, ticker NFLX, they beat by 35 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. Now, they added more than 8 million subscribers in the second quarter, which is very positive because this stock really moves on the subscriber numbers. But remember, this stock was set for a $55 move, and it didn't disappoint because after those earnings came out, here's Netflix trading at $650. It traded down to $600 last night, and then it bounced back, and then it was down only like $5, $6. Well, now it's up. It's up 1%. So, you got to look at that as positive. I don't think it's going to jump $50, but Netflix came out with a beat, and the market is not negative on the stock, and that's good. Travelers Corp, ticker TRV, they beat by 53 cents. Although it was done on lower revenue, but that stock's up this morning. It's up 1.5%. American Express, ticker AXP, they beat by 23 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. Upcoming, we have Truist Financial coming out. They're coming out Monday morning. This is ticker TFC, Tom, Frank, Charlie. Their EPS is 78 cents, and their expected move is 4.48%. We also got Verizon, ticker VZ, Victor Zebra. They're coming out Monday morning. Their EPS is $1.15, and the expected move is 3.85% when they release Monday morning, Emily.
Bill, keeping track of that. And, you did mention American Express in there. That was your pick of the day yesterday. So coming up, we're going to do a recap on that to check in on how that pick went yesterday. Now we're going to get to the economic events of the day. Again, the reports may be light, a couple of things to watch in terms of Fed speak. So give us a look at what we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Yeah, the economic calendar is really light today. I mean, at 1 o'clock, we do have that Baker Hughes rate count number coming out. In terms of Fed speak at 10:40 a.m., we're going to be hearing from New York Fed Bank President John Williams. And at 1 o'clock, we're going to be hearing from Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic. Remember, they go on blackout starting Saturday. So this is like the last comments we're going to hear from Fed officials. ECB yesterday, they kept their monetary policy in check, maintaining a cautious approach. They did lower interest rates in June, if you remember, but right now they're pretty keeping everything in check. They really want to hear and wait to see what the Fed does. And there's no Fed meeting in August, but they do have that Jackson Hole event, so that could be interesting. But yesterday we heard from Austin Fed Bank President Austin Goolsbee out of Chicago, and he indicated that the central bank is moving closer to cutting interest rates. He's warning of potential recessionary risks if monetary policy remains too restrictive for too long. I mean, he's talking about the golden path, referring to the balance between reducing inflation without triggering a recession. Now we're seeing increased jobless claims, so that's not good. Well, the economic numbers are kind of they're still positive, but they are kind of showing a little weakness. So now is the time to really start considering interest rate cuts, but it's unlikely it's going to happen at that July meeting in 2 weeks. So the path is needs to be done soon, and hopefully they do something. They did a big cut of half a basis, of 50 basis points. Boy, would this market take off. But we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, today it's all about, today's market is all about the cybersecurity incident overnight. I kind of think that this is an opportunity. I think this is an opportunity, and we're going to see some stocks really bounce off of these lows that we're seeing this morning, Emily.
And Bill, when I hear your economic reports, what I notice is that not only are you looking ahead, But you're giving us an overview of what happened yesterday, because with your NewsWare, you're not just looking at the latest news, you're able to collect historical data. So you're watching everything in real time, but also able to keep track of, especially when it comes to Fed comments, what was said before, which can add up and continue to move the markets. Speaking of moving the markets, you're also looking at other types of news, information, and data coming out of different sectors and segments. You look at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, other catalysts. You're able to group stocks together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks to really get a good feel for the trading day ahead. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Yeah, when you follow the news, you find these patterns that actually do make a lot of sense. And you're like, I saw this PPG. They came out with bad earnings yesterday. If you looked at it, everybody was downgrading the stock yesterday over the last quarter. I mean, they had weak revenues last quarter, but the expectations for them to have weak earnings this quarter. Sure enough, they did. You look at the stock; it closed Friday. It closed Thursday at 131. This morning it's going to open up 126 to 130. So they just follow the data, and you'll make money. I'm looking at my data. I'm looking at my data points this morning, doing a data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 17 higher. I got 12 lower. The rest unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing weakness in Amazon, but everything else is in the green. Um, some news behind it, like Apple. There's talk of that iPhone 16, the pre-orders not being as solid as earlier indications. I'm a little concerned about that, but Apple's up by 0.8% this morning. Google, Italy's antitrust, Italy regulators essentially are probing Google over their personal data usage. Meta Platforms, they're talking about acquiring a stake in a 5% stake in the parent of Ray-Ban sunglasses. Think about it. They're trying to do those sunglasses where you have the internet in the sunglasses. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be a wise move for them. Netflix, listen, they added subscribers. They added a ton of subscribers, more than the forecast. Sales is modest, but it was an earnings beat. So I got to be pleased with what they came out with. Tesla trading up this morning. That's up over 1%. There is a report out there this morning. The California New Car Dealer Associations, they report a slight dip in California new light vehicle registrations. 3 consecutive quarters of declining car registrations for Tesla. That's not really positive. But listen, stocks at 249, not fairly priced, I guess. Let's talk Dow Jones 30 stocks. We got to talk about what's going on with these oil stocks this morning. Chevron, ticker CVX. Donald Trump came out last night and he was doing his RNC speech, and he promised the U.S. greater production of fossil fuels in his speech last night. Well, the U.S. is already the #1 producer, and it doesn't really matter what they say. These oil companies work if it's profitable for them. But Chevron was off. It is trading a little higher. It's trading 162.19 now. It's up about 14 cents. Okay. Visa, you look at Visa, it's trading down $1 or 0.41%. But they did come out and they said that their systems are all operational, working, and that they're working with financial firms on various cyber outage issues. Microsoft's getting hit. It's down 1.5% this morning. Because they are part of this cyber outage. So yeah, they're really going to be taking on the chin. But remember, Microsoft's earnings come out on Tuesday, so this could be an opportunity. And I see that OpenAI is in talks with Broadcom to help with their development with their new AI chip. Normally, that would be positive news enough to get the stock moving higher, but Microsoft is taking on the chin because of the cyber outage overnight. Let's talk merger news. Let's talk Surgery Partners, ticker SGRY, Sam Grace, Richard Yeller. They're said to be exploring a potential sale. And Smartsheet, ticker SMAR, Sam Michael Apple Richard. The rumor is that they've hired investment bankers after they received an order from a private equity firm. So yeah, that could be interesting. Guidance news, we're talking Netflix, ticker NFLX. They raised their full year 2024 revenue growth to 14 to 15% from 13 to 15%. So they raised it on the low end. PPG, Paul Grace, they see Q3 adjusted EPS $2.10 to $2.20. The street estimate was at $2.28 negative. Oh, I don't like PPG. American Express, AXP, they raised their full year 2024 view to $13.30 to $13.80. Street estimate had it at $12.97. that looks good in my book. So, the weakness that we're seeing, we can see that thing move higher. In terms of shareholder meetings going on, Kronos Group, ticker CRON, Charlie, Richard, Oscar, Nancy, they're having a shareholders meeting today at 11 a.m. In terms of catalyst calls, we got to talk about Boot Barn, ticker BOOT, boy, Oscar, Tom. Citibank opens up a positive 30-day catalyst watch on the stock going into earnings. It could be interesting. I always like these, shoe companies. Boot Barn is trading a little lower this morning. We're talking Interpublic Group, ticker IPG, India Paul Grace, Interpublic Group, Citigroup Bank opened up a 90-day downside catalyst watch on the stock. And we're talking Summit Therapeutics, ticker S&amp, Sam, Michael, Tom. I see that Citibank opened up a 90-day positive catalyst watch on the stock. Stock hasn't moved much, trade $9.80 to $10. Interesting. We'll see if it causes any volatility, but it is a 90-day positive catalyst watch. But that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us to end this week?
Go with Smartsheet, ticker SMAR, Sam, Michael, Apple, Richard. It's all about the buyout rumors. That they're real. That they're hiring investment bankers. A deal seems to be very likely. Why do they hire the investment bankers? Because they're looking to see if somebody's going to give them a better deal than what they have on the table. So we'll have to see. Look at yesterday's call volume: 1,808 calls versus 207 puts. Oh my gosh, that's a huge spread. You're looking at the open interest, 17,164 versus put open interest of 993. So yeah, I kind of like it. The major brokers do like this stock. They do have buy ratings on it. They are raising price targets on it. I'm hoping to get in under 47 here. I'm hoping to get in under 47. I think that's possible. Maybe I'll pay low 47s, but I really want to get in, under 47 because that would be a screaming opportunity. Because, what's this thing worth? Is it worth $60? Yeah, but it could easily trade, in the 50s. So, I like SMAR, Sam, Michael, Apple, Richard, and that's my pick of the day. Smartsheet on a pending possible buyout deal, Emily.
Smartsheet it is today. Again, keeping track of these news items helps you look for opportunities in the trading day. And coming up, we're going to see if you had an opportunity in yesterday's pick of the day. So stick with us until that. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Otis Elevators, OTIS, they just got a new CFO. Their old CFO resigns. They appointed Christina Mendez as the new CFO. Lilly, ticker LLY, their weight loss drug was approved in China. One of their weight loss drugs was approved in China. That's positive for Lilly. Lilly's, trading higher this morning. Remember, it got smoked yesterday. Stock's up 2.4% this morning, 2.49%. Centennial One, ticker S, stock's gaining as CrowdStrike's, getting smoked. You look at, Centennial One and this morning, and listen, stock's up 8.64%. That's kind of nice. CrowdStrike, on the other hand, that's down 12%. Oh, $42. Ooh. Travelers Group, ticker TRV, CEO says we're very confident in the outlook of our business. Let's see what else we got here. Samsung passes NVIDIA's test, initiates mass production of HBM3 chip report. ARM, ticker ARM, they got upgraded at Morgan Stanley, and fundamentally it's successful to the emergence of an edge in AI. You got shares of ARM really showing some good gains this morning. It's up $4 or 2.63%. American Airlines software update causes global IT outage, leads to grounding flights. What's AAL doing? That's flat. Point out Microsoft's earnings are out on Tuesday. Stock could move $15 on that earnings release. And you look at the stock now, and it's down, $5.85. So this ISRG, Interactive Surgical, they posted a strong beat yesterday. Shares are up 6% this morning. GameStop video game sales fell 1.6% year over year in Europe in the first half of 2024. Here's something. The former PIMCO CEO, Mohammed Al Afarian, he's stepping down from the board of the Barclays because he took a position as chairman of sportswear brand Under Armour. I mean, listen, this guy's on the tape all the time, but he was not really that successful when he ran PIMCO. Remember, he pushed out the PIMCO founder, and he didn't really deliver like stellar gains or anything. It was, the guy's very strategic in his workings, but I've seen this guy make so many wrong calls over the years that it's shocking me. Some of these guys that they make a living. Lawrence Summers, the former Treasury Secretary, he's another one of those guys that's always on the tape. You're better off doing the opposite of whatever he says, because he's wrong more often than he's right, but he's always on the tape because he once had a big position. That doesn't mean he did a good job. Remember that. It doesn't always mean they did a good job just because they're on the tape often. Following, the Justice Department said on Thursday that the government made substantial progress towards reaching the final plea agreement with the airplane maker. Does not expect the details before July 24th, though. eBay company sought court guidance to help it settle a lawsuit by Massachusetts couples who said they were the victims of a bizarre stalking and harassing campaign by several of its now and former employees. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off for the weekend, get to trading on this Friday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was American Express, as I pointed out during earnings. You did give us a look at the stock during your earnings rundown. They reported an adjusted EPS of $3.49, well ahead of analyst estimates of $3.26. The revenue for the quarter grew 8% year over year to $16.33 billion, but it still slightly missed analyst estimates at $16.59 billion. You also gave us that note about their guidance in your NewsWare alerts. You were trading this one yesterday. You were looking for an entry price, Bill. How did your call work out?
I worked out fabulously. I mean, the fact of the matter, the stock opened up at $250.80, and it fell down to $249.79. Remember, I said under 250. It fell below 250 right at the opening, and then it bounced, all the way up to 253.73. There's your 1%. You got it. You walk away. You don't hold it into earnings. You take the gain. It's there. So listen, the stock's trading off today after earnings. Earnings were okay. They weren't horrible. They did raise guidance, I need to point out. But I wasn't planning on holding this in earnings. And one of the things that I watch for is I watch these call put volumes during the day, and the call put volumes went negative, where there's more puts being traded than calls, and that's typically a negative sign going into earnings. So I didn't want to go back into it after what started selling off in the afternoon. But listen, I made my money in the morning. Got my 1% and walked away, so I was happy. AXP was a winner for me yesterday. Good day, good day.
Bill, you were able to get that win there, and you told us on the show to take that 1% when you had it, and that is just what you did. And on Monday, we will check in with you about today's Smart Sheet pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here Monday and each weekday morning next week at NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.